Oh mama, oh mama, oh mama, oh mama.
Hey, everybody. Welcome to MegaCast 2, featuring two of your favorite podcasts. I'm Gary, representing the Triple B Experience podcast. This man over here is my man, Big JT, Jim Tiger. How's it going, Jim? We made it.
What's going on, Gary? The day is finally here for us to have our MegaCast again. I'm really excited. As Gary said, I'm one of the hosts, one of the three hosts on Steelers Realm. We got two of us here tonight, and without further ado, this gentleman we acquired via free agency and signed him back to Steelers Realm back in 2019, the teller of all things Steelers, the seer of all player injuries and practice participation, the NFL rules and inside guru, and embedded deep in the heart of Browns country, Steelers Realm co-host. It's my pleasure to bring back the famous TA. What's up, buddy? TA.
There he is, TA.
JT, Gary, I am fired up. I cannot wait to go ahead and get this MegaCast going, baby. I am ready to rock and roll. So without further ado, let's bring on the rest of the crew.
Okay, well, I don't have anything that good, but here, I'll give it my best shot. And representing the Triple B Experience podcast, first we have the movie critic, the lover of action figures, the eater of beef jerky, but sometimes gets it stuck, from Homer City, Pennsylvania, Caleb, a.k.a. Cable Thomas. What's up, Cable? Where you at? There you go.
Cable.
Hey, not doing too bad. Nice intro. Little embarrassing, but whatever. That's cool.
Well, do you think I was going to have anything intelligent like JT had? Come on, man. You know me.
No, but you didn't have a lot of good material to introduce me with either. So
I didn't say you have poor taste in football teams. I'm just saying. I didn't bring
save
it up.
that for later.
Yeah.
We'll save that for later.
He was going to leave that up to me, Cable. I can't even believe we're leaving a Patriots fan on here.
Exactly.
The cool thing about you is those dolls behind you.
Yeah, I agree.
Hey, I've put my time in around the Steeler fandom. I know a thing or two about the Steelers just because I don't root for them.
Okay, well, we're moving on here. And last but not least, for the Triple B Experience podcast, we have the black and gold wearing, the keg tapping, the beer chugging, the nacho grande loving, Indiana County's favorite son. We have the man, the myth, Mr. Triple B himself, Bad Bubba Brewer. What's up, Bubs? How we doing?
That's awesome.
Bubba.
I love my nachos, as you know.
Yeah, you do.
And I also love my beer. But it's also what I love is these two podcasts come together like the mega powers, and we're talking the greatest stuff that we love besides Cable's team, the Pittsburgh Steelers. And
That's great.
I'm pumped. So I'm going to try to sit down here. I don't want to get all over the place, but I can't wait for this show to start. I am pumped for a playoff week.
That's right. Absolutely. And you know what? To be honest with you guys, you know, I didn't know if we'd get a chance to do this, but you know, our boys pulled it off with a lot of help. But here we go. So I believe
It's destiny.
JT, you have somebody you want to introduce.
Yeah, guys. Hey, you know what? It's been a great lead up to this, and I'm so excited to bring, one of our regular contributors, a good friend, a personal friend, and friend of Steelers Realm. Our first VIP guest tonight was born in Griffin, Georgia. Played his college ball at Tennessee State U. Former Steelers cornerback, known mostly for his breakup of the Hail Mary pass from Jim Harbaugh to Aaron Bailey back in the 80s AFC Championship game in '95. That sent the Steelers to Super Bowl 30. Our friend and yours, number 29, Mr. Randy Fuller. What's up?
There he
Randy?
is, Randy.
Yay.
What's up, man? He's
What's
back.
going on, guys? How y'all doing tonight?
Hey, man.
Doing
We
pretty
are
good,
we are
Mr.
glad to
Fuller.
see you.
Man, hey, it's good to be in the 18th week and still working, right?
Absolutely.
That's it.
Absolutely.
Exactly right.
So no, I'm excited to be here as always. Anytime we get a chance to talk Steeler football with diehards and the backyard burners and the Browns and all that stuff is a good thing. So we'll include Cable, let him have some say.
Ah,
Oh, how generous. I appreciate that.
Man,
hey,
No
you
love,
know it's
Cable.
hard, Cable, to have this with you, man, not being one of us, but
Oh, I'm
Hey,
sure it is,
crazy.
but I give that outsider look. I can bring my point of view from, not deep in the Steeler trenches, and it's usually a pretty positive outlook.
well, you must understand that most of us diehard Steeler fans, we're a little bipolar now.
I think that's most football fans in general, but yeah, I can see that. I can see that.
But a friend of the show, Craig, wanted to welcome you back there, Randy, and another buddy of ours, Scott says, "Let's go."
Yes, sir.
So we are ready.
Yeah.
But Randy, I think you had mentioned that you had something to say, so I just wanted to give you time to do that.
I did, and I found my spot. I had pulled it up, so I actually decided that I will bring a guest on with me this week.
Yeah, I have no idea.
I think some of you guys know, and Bubba, you don't know. Okay,
I do not know, Randy.
The less he knows is the better.
Yeah.
The less he knows is the better.
I've been told, Randy, I have a big mouth, so secrets are not my extraordinary.
I got you. Well, I mean, the diehard Steeler fans will appreciate the guest. Brought in one of my former teammates. Thought long and hard on who I would bring, and it was easy. It was an easy decision because he was my roommate for 3 years in Pittsburgh. We were roommates in training camp. We lived across the hall from each other in Pittsburgh, and we pretty much did everything together. Rode to practice, rode to the games, ate at each other's houses. I mean, we did everything. He's one of my best friends. He is now my newly fraternity brother. And I'll just read his bio. He played for 11 seasons in Pittsburgh. His nickname was Slap.
Oh. that gave it away. There he is. Kordell Stewart. Kordell.
Oh, my God.
Woo.
What's up, guys?
I got chills.
Hey, Bubba, surprise, Bubba.
Oh, my God, Randy. Oh, my God, Christmas. It's Christmas.
What's going on, guys?
First off, Randy, thank you. And Kordell, welcome. Thank you so much for being here with us.
Oh, my God.
Yeah, thank you.
We have a New England Patriot on the phone on here.
Sorry about that.
Oh,
Nope.
Cable was the Patriots. I thought he was the Browns. My bad.
What?
Is it Brown or is it
The name
Patriots?
for me.
Same
It's
difference.
Patriots. It's Patriots.
God, we were doing good.
We were.
I can see myself out, guys. That's fine. I can.
Antagonist. We got to have you. We need you.
No, you got to stay here, Cable. So, hey, we really appreciate you jumping on Randy and Kordell, and we thought maybe we could kind of start before we get into the game and the challenges and your insight on what leads up to a game like this. We thought we'd check in with you and let Steeler Nation know what each of you have been up to lately, and what your passions have been, and what you've been doing, and since the football days when people remember you by.
I'll let my guests be first. Go ahead.
Oh, okay, no problem. As we were talking before we came on, I have an 18-year-old son. He's in college. He went his first semester to the University of Colorado, and now he's back home going to Georgia State. Didn't want to be too far away. Kind of figured if he was going to play ball and take classes, he might as well do it close to home, and he's going to have an opportunity to maybe get some work this spring with the team, or even take it over until the summertime. But during that time of him actually having a chance to go to college, I've been coaching for the last 5 to 6 years at his high school. And so I'm continually doing that. I had a chance to to do my first autobiography in 2016 called Truth. It's on Amazon. It's everything about my life.
Congratulations.
Thank you much. It's everything about my life, my family, to high school, where I'm from, college, my fun experience in Pittsburgh, to on to Chicago and Baltimore, and then leading up to today. So, I've been staying busy. Getting into the real estate world, doing some work there too as well. So I'm staying busy, having fun, watching football, watching my son grow up, trying to be a good happy, hanging out with this guy right here named Randy Fuller. We're now frat brothers. We've been brothers forever, but fraternity brothers for life. But that life is a part of it too. So, just trying to stay in shape, stay out of trouble, stay away from COVID. All these Greek letters they're calling the COVID. So now we're on Omicron. So it's like, oh my goodness, what's going to be next, right? So just staying low with that and watching my Steelers play ball, man, and seeing if we can do the unthinkable, right? You go from being talked about so bad to all of a sudden now they creep in, and it doesn't matter how you get there as long as you're there in the dance to play, right? And that's all that matters.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah, maybe a big send-off for Ben.
Yeah.
Hey, man, I tell you what, for everybody in that relationship, Ben's put in 18 great years, did not have a losing season his entire career there with the team, and came in, took it by storm, and in his first year took him to the AFC Championship against your New England Patriots. Yes. Cable. And lost that game. And then the next year, of course, he takes him to the Super Bowl and send Jerome off at Detroit the right way. To then a few years later with Coach Tomlin, gets an opportunity to play it again, I think against the Cardinals. And, and everything that he's done after that. So, yeah, he has a great opportunity to it's almost like when he made the announcement, from afar about it potentially being his last game. And then all of a sudden you get the win because, the Chargers and the Raiders could have gone to the playoffs together. Just let it be a tie and don't worry about it, right? Well, the Raiders kick the field goal and all of a sudden it runs the San Diego Chargers off, and then the Steelers gets in, and it's like, everybody's playing with house money now. It's like you're going against the Kansas City Chiefs. You're not supposed to play good in that game, considering the weapons they have on offense and their defense getting better, to where obviously the Steelers are healthy and they're getting better and they're playing tough together at the right time. And, you never know what can happen. This team was the last seed at one time when they did go to a Super Bowl. So, they're right where they need to be,
Well, Kordell, we have a bunch of people that are stoked to see you. We have a bunch of messages. Great to see Slash. We have another one that I shaved Slash into my hair as a child because I wanted to look like Kordell. So welcome.
That's what I'm talking about.
But we're gonna hear more about your perspective about the playoffs here in a second. But Randy, what have you been up to, man? How's it going?
Man, 2021 was a tough year in so many facets, and it's a blessing to see 2022. It's been a great kickoff to the start of the year. I'm excited about, my life, my family, everything that's going on. As you guys know, I raised a son and a daughter. My son's 19, daughter's 14. Son's a soccer player, been over in Spain playing soccer for the past 15 months.
Oh, wow.
He's home for the break, and he's supposed to go back to Germany at the end of the month. And then my daughter, 14-year-old freshman, track and field star in the making, and looking forward to her bright future. My wife is doing incredibly well. We're taking care of her 93-year-old mother, Mama Carr, who's a true diehard Steeler fan.
God bless her.
Yes, indeed. Thank you. Kordell and I ate many meals from her.
Yes, we did.
Many meals. So, that's incredible.
That's awesome.
Lady. So I'm enjoying being, you become a caregiver when you take care of a parent, and I've been enjoying doing that. And in my life, as far as working, that's what I do. I work for a residential treatment facility called All Points North Lodge. It's in Edwards, Colorado, right outside of Vail. It is we treat substance abuse, we treat trauma and mental health. So if anybody having loved ones needing help, then please give me a call. That's what I do on a daily. I love doing it.
That's amazing. It's amazing.
And then my biggest passion is always trying to meet Steeler fans to let them know I'm truly the number one fan.
Bubba might take offense to that, but hey,
No,
it doesn't matter.
I'm okay, Randy.
I believe you, Randy. I believe you.
Give that title to you. I'm okay.
But hey, we have a little thank you for you, Randy, here. Scott wanted to chime in. He said, thank you, Randy, for all the community work you've done here in Pittsburgh and all the work with the deaf community here. So,
man, yeah, I missed that community, man. My wife and I did some great work working with that facility. And the NFL taught me about service, and it hasn't stopped. So I'm definitely thankful for being able to do it.
That's amazing, and we all thank you for that. But just real quick before we get moving along here, I just wanted to say that this broadcast is brought to you by Alley Cat Beverage. They're sponsor of the show, and then also the one and only Bob's Pizza. Well, at least the one and only Bob's Pizza that matters, but out of Indiana County. So thank you both. They're great. They've been kind and generous. So Randy, can you pick a number for me between 1 and 20?
Oh, let's go with 10.
Number 10. I figured you were going to go with that. So that is Dave Zook. Dave Zook, you won. You won one of our prizes tonight. So, Bubba, which prize you want to give him?
I'm going to give him the beer glasses, the Steeler beer glasses, Dave.
There you go. More prizes to come. More prizes to come, guys. So, Dave Zook, if you're watching, thank you for liking and sharing.
I feel like Bob Parker right now.
Well, there you go. Anyway, JT, you want to move us along here?
Well, let's do that, guys. Let's jump into this. We had 8:20 p.m. kickoff at Arrowhead Stadium as we travel out to face number 2 Chiefs. The TV coverage is going to be NBC here locally in the Pittsburgh area. That's WPXI TV. He's back again. But the announcer's taking over, Mike Tirico doing play-by-play. And, of course, Pittsburgh favorite NBC and Chris Collins with the analysis.
He was giving me such a headache last week. He was making me so mad.
A tie. And then Michelle Tavoy on the sideline taking care of that too. And then you can also on the Steelers app and also on the Steelers radio network, Badass Billy Hill Grove and Craig Wolfley, along with Missy Matthews and Max Starks made the transition, guys, to sideline board as well too. Weather looks like a little chilly, 26 degrees, a little bit of wind, but overall, lead the series against the Chiefs, got 23-13, 1-1 in the postseason, and then of course we all know what happened earlier this year when we met them at Arrowhead. So. They are 12-8 in Arrowhead. So, but anyhow, at 9-7-1, we managed to eat into the playoffs. We were all on the edge of our seats waiting for that kick to happen at the Chargers Raiders game, and things worked out. But boy, that was close call going into a tie in regulation. But here we are. We made it here. We're in the dance. Back to square zero. As you guys probably know, all you got to do is get there and. Once again, anything can happen from here too. So I'm anxious to get into this and really get your guys' input on, leading up to the game and, what's going on, how do you prepare, things like that too. So that's what we were hoping to get your insight on.
I just want to say something here that, and I think Bubba, you'd mentioned this the other day, but the Chiefs have had 5 losses on the season, right? 3 of them are the teams that the Steelers beat. So that's Ravens, Bills, and Titans. So do we have hope?
Well, can I say something, everybody? Don't you feel last week was the most divine intervention of watching any football game for the longest period of time, being a Pittsburgh Steeler fan from 1 o'clock to almost 1 o'clock in the morning to find out if we were actually getting in?
Or wait a second, are you just talking about 12 hours of heart palpitation?
Yeah. Yes, I am.
Yeah, I guarantee you AGH is filled with, cardiac arrest patients probably after Sunday. I promise you. So, man, I tell you what. But
it was a pretty chill day for me. Yeah, it wasn't.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, thank you.
But hey, guys, lots of messages coming in here. Thank you, Kordell. Thank you, Randy, for being here. So
Welcome.
It's a pleasure to be here. No problem. I mean, this is that time where conversations and support is so important. To you guys' point of it being an all-day event, for it to come down to a field goal kick, yes, that made it seem like it was an eternity, honestly. Now, if it was a play where it was a big stop or a great throw or something like that, it would have been a little different. But a kick by the Raiders to determine the fate of us getting in, that made it a long day. But it was worth it because, as excited as everybody was after the game against Baltimore, you end up finding out, like, we're in, but are we? And everybody's like, no, because if there's a tie. I'm like, no way possible it can come down to a tie. And there was a conversation on the sideline with the Raiders wondering if they should just kneel down on it or kick the field goal, and they chose to kick, and come on, man. When does that ever happen where the tie actually comes into play literally in the last few seconds of the game to determine your fate? It never really happens all the time. So it was a great day, but when you can get it this way, it's and you're on this side now, it's worth the wait. It's worth the wait.
Well, let me chime in. I would say, see, the Steelers celebration, they were not celebrating because they thought they had made the playoffs. They were celebrating because they beat the stinking Ravens. And it was Big Ben. Big Ben beat the Ravens again. That right there was sweeter than us making the playoffs. The playoffs is bonus. So even if we did not, we still ended up with, not having a losing season. There are a whole lot of victories within that victory. So now, being in reality, that game, I mean, we definitely didn't expect it to be a tie. But once you saw Justin Herbert converting every fourth down, who didn't think it was going to be a tie at that point? So I was pacing in front of the television, but I was also preparing myself. Well, wow, that's a hell of a way to lose it, or not make the playoffs. But at least we put ourselves, in position to make it. And now the unique thing about us making it is that when Kordell and I was there in Pittsburgh, we all believed that if we made it to the playoffs, we're going to make a run to the Super Bowl.
Yeah. Well, that's an interesting perspective. It really was. So thank you for that, Kordell. We have Scott chiming in again. He said, Kordell, is your leg still good to punt? We may need you to throw the 10 on and punt for us. So
Hey, I tell you what, for the right price, I'll come back, baby. Just give me a ticket, give me a uniform, baby. I'll come and do it. I'll do it. One last try, right? One last try.
You got it.
Well, at one point in time, Kordell, TA was posted up in front of Walmart trying to find some extra linemen to fill in the gaps for the missing guys. So,
I did a pretty good job. I found us the glue.
Found the glue.
That's
good job.
Yeah, but
JT, you want to kick us off? Here were some questions.
We got a nice lineup, guys. Before we get into TA's famous ambulance report, we have a couple questions we'll get into. Okay. But once we get through a few questions, just kind of, and then we'll dig into the game, players to watch out for. What do you think? How the matchup's going to look, and then hopefully get some insight. Rain, to get to hear. What happens when you get called out on the field. So, hey, with you guys, if you're ready, a couple questions we just put together for you, and we're hoping there's not too much here to go over. But, hey, you both got here in 95, played an integral part in our run for the Super Bowl that year. Can you provide Steeler Nation an inside look at just what it takes to get there, to get to the play, get to the dance?
Stu, you want to chime in?
Sure. That year, 95, was a very interesting year because, of course, they had Neil O'Donnell, Mike Toms, like Jim Miller, and myself. And this was a time where we all know they were just coming off of the loss against the Chargers the year prior in the AFC Championship at home, Three Rivers. That year, that's when Rod Woodson tore his knee trying to tackle Barry Sanders on the turf, right? To Neil O'Donnell, I think, fracturing his pinky finger. And Mike Tomczak had to come in. And I think we may have had a receiver or two that ended up getting injured. And I'm, just doing scout team, everything, right? And so I was like, I don't feel like just sitting over here the whole time. I'm like, I can do something. I'm going to gain too much weight sitting over here watching in khaki shorts and a Steeler t-shirt. So I'm like, to Coach Cowher and Coach Ron Elhart at the time and Chan Gilly, I was like, guys, whatever we can do to get me on the field or I can help us because the numbers were dwindling down because of injuries. For, while practicing in practice, going up against Randy to Willie Williams to Cornell Lake, Rod Woodson, we were having fun. We were competing. And so it got to a point where I think the very first game, we ended up playing against Jacksonville, and I think that was my first snap where we lined Neil O'Donnell to the left with Yancey, and then we had 3 receivers to the right, and we did a quarterback draw on 3rd and 15. At this time, they didn't know how to spy the mobile quarterback at that time. And so I ended up going for 18 yards, and we ended up getting the first down, and the rest was history. But that spark for our team, not knowing what direction we were going to go in, kind of bought us some time until we were able to get Neil back at the helm. And I'm going to tell you, I think we went on an 11-game winning streak. I think we did something crazy like that, or 8-game winning streak, something like that to that extent. And I think we were 4 and correct me if I'm wrong. I think we were like
3 and 4.
3 and 4.
3 and 4. Right.
Chicago game. It was the Chicago
That's
game.
right. 3 and 4. And we went on like 11 game or so. My numbers may be off. I'm getting older, guys, so don't charge it to my heart. Just my mind. I think we went on like 11-game winning streak, and then we end up losing against the Packers after Yancey had the opportunity. It's not his fault, but it wasn't a game that mattered anyway. Let's just say that first. But if we catch that ball, that's when Brett Favre doesn't win the division and go on his run of winning divisions and going to championship. So that year took us getting healthy and having some luck on our side and playing some really, really, really good football. Our defense was playing stellar football. Offensively, we went to the wide receiver set, something that no one saw other than the 4 wide receiver set stemming from, I think, the run and shoot system that was ran with Warren Moon and with the Houston Oilers at the time. And then we brought in 5 wides with myself, and we just had phenomenal chemistry as a team. It's like we fed off each other tremendously. We competed extremely hard in practice. No one was excluded from hard work, whether it was you on scout team or just, doing your part as a ball boy or equipment guy or the managers. I mean, everybody was putting in work, and it took the entire team literally. And to be able to play the way we did, to come down to that last Hail Mary pass with Randy knocking it down, because he still could have caught the ball. If Randy wasn't swinging like he was swinging at a gnat or something like that, like a fly, the ball lands in his chest, literally. If you get a chance to watch it, the ball is actually being hit by everyone, and the ball is steadily going in the receiver's chest, and Randy is just being relentless and just steadily just keeps swinging, and before you know it, he hits it enough to where the ball just literally gets hit out of the way. It rolls off of his chest onto the ground. Like, where does that happen? Like, everything was literally in slow motion. And so when it happened, man, I was like, God dang it. Sheesh. This is the guy I have to be a roommate with all the time. I'm like, how do I talk to him? I know he's feeling pretty good about himself, huh?
At least you don't got to worry about bugs flying around. He'll now.
Right. Swinging at me, right? But honestly, guys, that year took a lot of effort from everyone. Everyone buying in. I think you said we were 3 and 4, 2 and 4, 3 and 4.
3 and 4.
Yeah, that to make that type of a run, that was pretty remarkable. And and most importantly, guys, in the end, we had a lot of fun. Like, we enjoyed each other. Like, we didn't get caught up into the noise. We just competed against one another. Creating T-shirts. All that good stuff. I mean, we just had fun with it. And that was my first year, so I may be a little extra because, Rod Woodson and Greg Lloyd being around longer, I know they had tougher times, right? So they were feeling like, it was their time. Me, I come in out of out of college at Colorado and seeing this. I'm like, this is the way it's supposed to be all the time. I'm like, geez. I'm glad I'm here with the Steelers and, Coach Cowher and Mr. Rooney. And I mean, it was just a phenomenal year. One of the best years of football of my life. And it's something I think we all as fans and also players and staff members there at the organization is something we'll never forget, because that was probably one of our better years, my better years, truthfully, that I've had since I've been there when I was there in Pittsburgh.
Randy, you want to chime in on that too?
Yeah. I'm gonna give you a quick version of what I probably said before. So I wasn't on the team in the beginning of the year. I was in Denver. I've been hurt in training camp, and then I healed up, and then they cut me, and then the season started. So I was watching football on television for the first couple of weeks, and I remember seeing Rod Woodson tear his knee up, and felt bad because I was a diehard Woodson fan. And I remember when my agent called me and said, "Hey, you going to work out in Pittsburgh for a workout in Pittsburgh?" And I said, "Man, if I go to Pittsburgh, I'm not coming back." So I went out to Pittsburgh, and I don't think I got any sleep. It was one of those nights where I just prayed all night, sat in the tub, soaked my legs, stretched, did all that kind of thing. Went out there, worked out the next day, and I never did go back to Denver. They signed me, and I remember just walking out in Three Rivers Stadium at practice before everybody came out there. I just walk out there and look around, and just really, my mother was in heaven already. And I just talked to her and said, "Mom, can you believe this? I'm not only in the NFL, but I'm playing for my favorite team." And it was just a true dream come true. So I was just running down on special teams. Like Kordell said, I was doing scout team, covering him and covering Yancey. And I was just happy. I was just having fun. And I didn't even feel any pressure of that, oh, we're supposed to be trying to get back to the Super Bowl, because I wasn't there the year before, so I didn't know what everybody else was feeling. But I remember when we were 3-4 and Coach Cowher walked in the meeting, and he was like, "There are going to be some changes." And those changes that's when Kordell got inserted in to wideout. I got inserted in as me and Chris Odom. We both got inserted as the nickel and the dime. So we started playing defense. And again, we made that miraculous run. And that last play, what I would tell you about that last play is that I was responsible for the backside, just in case they threw it the other side. So when I looked up and I saw my teammates kind of all in front of the receiver and they all got ready to jump, my instinct just told me to get over there. And sure enough, when they all jumped, they all mistimed their jump and the ball went over their head. So thank God I was a lone jumper in high school, because I must have jumped about 24 to 25 feet to get there in time. And like Kordell said, at that point, I was just raking, just trying to knock the ball out. And it was slow motion, because as we landed, I literally saw the ball on the guy's belly, and then I saw it roll and hit the turf. And as soon as it hit the turf, he pulled it back up. So now I'm looking for the official to see if he saw what I saw. And when he said incomplete, man, no one even know I made the play, because as soon as I saw him do this, I was already in the stands with the fans having a blast. And we made it to the locker room, and no one was around me. They didn't know I made the play. I got dressed. I was going to walk out the locker room by the time they realized that it was me. And they were like, "Oh, Mr. Fuller, can we interview you?" And that's how I got my interviews. But that was an incredible run. Just to cap out what Kordell said, it was fun. We had a very unique group that bonded, and we had, that the most of the team that was on the team the year before, they had that memory of losing to the Chargers. So all that combined together gave us the energy we need to win the championship. And I definitely take my hat off to Coach Cowher and the staff for making those adjustments at 3-4.
Yep.
So is playoff preparation different than regular season preparation at all?
I think I would say this. You want to say no, but whatever injury you have, whatever soreness you may have, if you feel bogged down and tired because it's been a long season, it all goes away. So everything just starts all over again. You get rejuvenated. You can even see Ben in his interviews, right? Like a totally different person, doesn't he? The conversation
You're right.
be a little more, having more fun and more loose, right? Because it's like now the game starts over again.
Yeah.
So, you get revived in a way that says we win, we stay in. We go home, hey. And truthfully, at the end of the day, knowing that Ben was supposed to be done, right? If they would have lost that game, right? And no one was saying they were going to, but that was the feeling, right? We can't let this be the last one, right? And I don't think the emphasis was that 100%, but everybody was caught up in supporting Ben in his last game and appreciate everything that he's done for Steeler Nation for so long. And to all of a sudden coming out playing lights out to where now you're on the road playing in this game where it means even more. So now you win it. Now you have to wait till late in the evening, as we've done our 12-hour shift already, right? To see a field goal kick go through the uprights.
That's what it feels like. Yeah.
We get the 8 o'clock game. Come on,
There
man.
you go. Yeah. And so now, it's like we have life again.
Yeah.
That's all you can say is like we have life again. It's not so much, do you want to do it? Is it hard? It's like to make it this far in these circumstances, it's almost like psychologically saying we're built for this run. And why not try to go out and give it our best? So it just does nothing but, I think, charges the energy up a little bit higher.
Yeah, I know. I felt like I played hard in that game. That's for sure. Man, I was tired. Randy, anything about preparation in the playoffs?
Yeah. So, when we were there on our playoff run, the 3 years I was in Pittsburgh, it was 3 years of playoffs. But we always had a bye, So it was way more loose, gave you time to heal up by having that bye week. But the Steelers just played on Sunday, and then they got to come back and play on Saturday. It's a short week, so it's not a whole lot of time to think about, how you feel. It's just like you got to go. So that I hate that that's the case, because in the playoffs, the team that's the healthiest is normally the team that goes the furthest. So I think we're pretty healthy overall, and if we can stay healthy and find a way, obviously we'll talk more about the game, to cut down the big plays, then all we want to do is be in it at the end and give that one hell of a kicker that we have, just give him a chance to do his thing if it comes down to a field goal, because we have a good one, and he's my MVP this year.
The Bubba's too.
There you go, Bubba. Bubba.
I love him. See, Randy, we're both on the same wavelength.
I know Bubba has a question here, but just real quick, I want to say hi to Amanda. She said hi to everybody. And then we also had Scott. He wanted to know, Kordell, do you still chat with your old college buddy and pro teammate, Charles Johnson?
Oh, it's been a while since I talked to CJ. CJ has his family. I know he lives in North Carolina, but we kind of talk to one another through friends that do speak to him or I, or you know how it goes, right? If you haven't spoke to the person directly, if you go have mutual friends, you end up speaking indirectly, not saying hello, but he's doing okay. So he's doing well, and he's out in Raleigh, Durham. I'm staying out in North Carolina, so haven't spoken.
It's all my fault, Gary.
While, but
it's
yeah,
really
there's a lot of stuff is Randy's fault. A lot of stuff is
got-
Randy's fault. I won't tell everybody.
You got to understand, there's probably never been a quarterback DB to be roommates. And we were the only two to probably ever do that. It should have been Kordell and Charles Johnson, and quarterback receiver, but it was me and him.
Yeah, well, he screwed it up. I will tell you that. He screwed it up, guys.
So I got to ask.
We're going right into my question.
Yeah. Who drew the short straw on that roommate choice?
Who came up with it?
Oh, no, well, because we lived across the hall from each other, we rode into work together every day. And we left.
I drove him to work every day. I drove him. Let's get that right.
Man, I didn't have a license, man. I partied too hard in college. But because we got along and they saw us together all the time, and plus I probably helped them read defenses better by my defensive skills,
You see what I'm saying? See, that's what I got to deal with all the time.
This is going right into my question, too.
Bubba, go for it, man. Take it away, brother.
My question is, guys, football is a brotherhood, as we just heard from the two of you guys.
Right.
But how do you keep different personalities in the locker room all focused on the end goal?
Man.
Well, when it's like anything else, right? When it comes to team concepts, there is an end goal, and you have to find yourself in the process and that philosophy of what it is we're trying to do. Now, you can be a part of it by being out on the field, or be a part of it sitting on the sideline, and in some cases not being there. So I think sometimes, some stuff is self-explanatory, right? I mean, you're getting paid to do a job, right?
Yeah.
You want to get on the football field. I think sometimes when there's fun times taking place on the field, we most of the time want to be a part of that. And I think, it's easier said than done when it comes down to being focused and understanding why you're there, because sometimes from the outside looking in, you see guys making money, right? Guys are playing the best game in the world, playing for the best team in all of sports, and you're in a great city where the support is tremendous. Everybody's telling you, great job, we love you, right? So it gives you a chance to be a big knucklehead if you want to be, if you're not locked in the way you should. And you have to commend ownership as well as the coaching staff, led, I would say, by Coach Tomlin, who was a former player in his time, Bill Cowher, who I played for, who was a former player in his time, to be able to convey the message to a bunch of men, right, to understand why they're there.
To be disciplined, Kordell, to actually achieve that. So if you're losing your focus, you're not going to be as disciplined as you think you're going to be.
That's right. And trust me, having Mel Blunt coming around, okay, Lynn Swan coming around, whoever else that, I may have not mentioned that comes around is around, the Rod Woodsons who come back, like you have to live up to a level of expectation at your certain position and also the winnings that was taking place before you. So if you have an organization that wins as much as the Steelers have over the years and decades, you can't come there to play. I mean, you'll get ran out of town real quick, let alone off the team.
Yeah, what I would add to that, Bubba, is that you don't want to let your teammates down. That was the biggest thing that I faced, is that here I am, a new guy that just joined the team. Nobody knows me other than Brinston Buckner because we're from the same hometown.
Okay.
Everyone else had to learn me from the third, fourth week of the season. So they didn't know me. So all of a sudden, when Coach Cowher puts me into the lineup, now everybody's depending on me to do my part to get off the field on third down. So I took pride in that. I didn't want to let them down, so it was easy to be a part of what the bigger picture was.
Once you did your job, they knew they could count on you, and then you were already into brotherhood because they know they could count on you.
Absolutely.
Don't
Secondary.
believe that. Don't believe that.
No.
See, he lived across the hall from me. He did not want to deal with me throwing those bombs on him all day, every day. So he worked as well, so I don't have bragging rights driving him home at the same time. I'm sorry, Ray. I'm sorry. Go ahead,
The
Ray.
truth is out.
Mike went out. Let's say I missed all of that. But what I would say, one of the things that we used to say in that particular secondary was that, man, we got so much depth. Like if so-and-so go out, we were not afraid of the next guy stepping up. Like you see nowadays, the backups are not that good. It's a big drop-off between the starters and the backup. But when we played, we didn't care whether it was me, Chris Odom, Willie Williams, Deion Figures, Rod Woodson, Carnell Lake. We didn't care what corner it was. Mm-hmm. We all just stepped in. And same thing with the wideouts. I mean, we had Yancey, Andre Hasten, Charles Johnson. Who else? We have, Stu, you, and somebody else.
Me? Everybody. Just keep on going.
Yeah,
name
all the receivers.
Anyone.
But we were deep like that.
Ernie Mills, who is it, Corey Holiday?
Yeah. Ernie Mills.
Ernie Barnes,
Yeah,
was it Barnes? Johnny
Ernie.
Barnes came from Johnny Barnes that came from San Diego.
Yeah.
He was there. All of that. Yeah.
So we had some skills and we had some depth, and everybody was talented or equally as talented as the other guy, and they made plays. That was really what I feel like compelled us to go as far as we did, is that so if somebody did get banged up, somebody else stepped up and we didn't.
Yeah, I agree. Back then, I remember all those guys, and I agree with what you're saying.
Hey, and Randy, we have a question coming in for you, and you might know this person.
Yeah, last name Fuller. Looks like my niece.
There you go. Well, hi. Welcome to the show. Thanks for joining us. But the question is, Randy, what made you choose football over basketball and track during college?
Oh yeah. So basketball was a no-brainer. Being 5'10" and a half, I wasn't going to go anywhere in basketball. So even though I was good, I averaged 18 points. I was not going to go anywhere. And track and field was my passion. I love track and field. I thought I was going to long jump in the Olympics. That was my dream. The only thing about it, I went to the University of Tennessee, and they was talking about me running the 400-yard dash, which I hated. So I said, no, I don't think I really want to run track and field. So I had a great conversation with the head coach at the time, Joe Gilliam Sr., who is Jefferson Street, Joe Gilliam Jr.'s father. He was the head coach at Tennessee State. He told me about the history of Tennessee State, and I just felt like going to a smaller school, I have a chance to do a lot more. And that was the truth, because day one, I was a day one starter at wide receiver, and then I got hurt, and then I ended up playing corner and starting for 4 years.
Wide receiver?
Yep. Starting.
See, you two were destined to roommate. See?
I know. It's a good thing I didn't play receiver, Stu. You would have never been slashed had I been.
I'm sorry. Y'all hear that mess? You hear that mess? Are y'all listening to that mess?
But Cable, you got a question?
Yes, I do. And Randy, I'm sorry you're getting paired off with the Patriots fan here. But from a defensive perspective, what do you do specifically to prepare for the upcoming offense? What does that week look like?
Oh man, so it's really dealing with a lot of schemes and down and distances. So we're watching a lot of film to try to get those tendencies and what are they going to do in a particular situation. So we have the short, like third and short, third and long, and there are different defensive schemes, there are different formations that dictate on what you're going to play. So we spend, I would say probably 85% of our time watching film in the classroom, preparing for the game. We only spend about 10, 15 hours out there on the field throughout the week. So it's important that when you recognize a formation out there in the game, you've seen it so many times that you don't panic, you just react. So that's what practice is for, is that we go over and over and over what the team like to do, because in a tough situation, the teams are going to revert back to what they do best. You see what I'm saying? So as long as you understand those tendencies, then
like muscle memory almost. You get it down so you can snap into it.
Yeah, just like when we're going to see the Chiefs, they're going to go into that bunch formation again, right? Last game, we busted the coverage and two guys jumped the flat route and the guy ran the 7 route behind them, right? So we should be prepared for that and we got to focus on the integrity of the defense. We know that the Chiefs are going to catch balls. We know that. But it's going to be important that we tackle them and not allow yards after the catch.
Yeah. All right.
JT, you're up.
Sound like you knew what he was talking about. Huh?
It sounded good to me.
Yeah.
It sounded real good.
I love these guys passing each other. It's fun.
This is amazing.
Well, the same thing. I think this kind of head your way, Kordell, from obviously an offensive perspective. What goes into preparing for opposing teams, and what do you think Ben's going through right now, trying to prepare for the Chiefs this round?
Yeah. By the time you get to this time in the year, it's not too many defenses you hadn't seen, right? You know, whether schemes, stunts, blitzes, whatever, gamesmanship in the sense of timeouts, what they like to do from the boundaries, all of that great stuff, right? As far as blitzing the cornerbacks off the edge, you pretty much have seen it all. I think, when dissecting, you have the scouts and everybody helping dissect the film all the way up into the last moment. I mean, the only thing you do is go off of their tendencies, right? I think you try to find their tendencies, what they like to do most importantly on first down, what they like to do on second down, of course, and third down. And I think you try to find the things that they do best and minimize them from having success at it. The more you can do that, the better opportunity you have to be able to achieve what it is you're trying to do. So, for example, some teams, Cable, like the Patriots, they rail you in to becoming extremely anxious because they are so patient, right? They'll let you feel as if you're gaining here, you're gaining there, you're getting this. And by the time you get into the red zone, you become anxious because you're so close because it took you so long to get down there. And then before you know it, they're sitting right there waiting for you playing the zone and applying a tremendous amount of pressure up front with their forefront or the linebackers coming off the edge and maybe have one guy with his hand on the ground and the other standing up. And by the time you snap the ball and they rush upfield, if you stop the tape, you end up seeing only 4 guys rushing, 3 guys dropping, and you have 4 guys in the secondary. So if you can get to the point where you can understand what their strengths are and what they really like to do, especially on those crucial downs, like 3rd medium and long and sometimes 3rd and medium and long. If you get in those manageable situations, 3rd medium and short, you'll have a chance to be successful. But I think the key to this game for the Steelers, and I say this with all due respect, is just being able to be methodical and just control the game. You saw the Tampa Bay Buccaneers play them in the Super Bowl last year. And what they did best is they kept the ball away from them and they forced their quarterback, Patrick Mahomes, not Holmes, Patrick Mahomes, to throw it downfield to Tyreek Hill. So they weren't big play opportunities. We like to play a lot of man. You know, we like to press and play man. And sometimes that can get you caught if you're out of position. If you play that type of defense that keeps everything in front of them, I honestly will say, and just keep going back and forth. And that's what caused them problems early in the year. Think about it. They weren't making big plays early in the year because no one got behind the secondary. And that's one thing I think we have to avoid this weekend in order to have success against an offense that has the capabilities of being one of the most explosive of all times in the game of football.
So, Kordell, you bring up a good point now, talking at it from a quarterback's perspective. So my question to you is, and Randy, this is no offense now.
Go ahead.
When I look at the quarterback position in the NFL today, it's so hard to find that franchise quarterback. You were that franchise quarterback for the Pittsburgh Steelers. With that extra added pressure, how important is it to not only know the offense, where everybody's supposed to be, everybody's supposed to line up, what routes are being ran, where the ball's got to go to, but also the defense? Because I look at the quarterback position as almost being the coach of the team itself, because he's got to know 22 players' positions, not just 11 like you would on defense.
And controlling the game too, right? Knowing what the check downs and not always taking the big plays all the time, you know, stuff like that. But to your question, during the week is a time when you know what guys are supposed to line up and where they're supposed to be, right? I think we run these plays over and over again to a level of perfection that's, you know, that makes you sit back and think at this moment in time in my life, like, really? Is that how many times we ran that one play in practice on that one day to make sure we get the maximum effort, yards out of it to try to win a game? And the answer is yes. So where when you get in the game, yeah, you may take a glance over and make sure when I call a certain formation, you see where guys are. You see the linemen are not offside, you know, just the little things, because you don't really have time to really do everyone else's job. But at the same time, you're glancing over the field, you're gazing to see what's going on. You want to get your eyes on the other side of the ball. You know, you don't want to be concerned on, you know, mostly about what's going on your side. About the back, when you're in a shotgun, you want to make sure he's on the right side for protection, for sure. That's the one because he's closest to you. But the number one thing is really knowing what's going on in the secondary, you know, to where if you're throwing the ball or if you have to make checks at the line of scrimmage from run to pass, you know what you're checking to. When I say checks, that means you get 2 plays. You know, you have one that you can call. If you see something else, you make a call at the line. But offensively, that's done during the week. You know, we kind of iron out all the kinks, motion shifts, formations. One guy who's supposed to be on the right side with the tight end all the time this week because they're following a player, we may line him up on the opposite side, right? So stuff like that you work on during the week. But once the game starts, after having these discussions in the hotel, in the meeting rooms before the actual game starts, to in the locker room, warming up on the field till actually the whistle blows to start the game, I'm counting on you, as Randy alluded to a moment ago, I'm counting on you as a teammate to know what you're doing, to where my job can be a little bit easier as opposed to worrying about what we're doing on our side, but be more concerned about what they're doing on their side so that we can make the most of every single play that we call and be able to also, if not get the most out of it, get the very minimum, keeps us headed down the distance on the yardage.
Beautiful.
Nice. Bubba?
Okay, my question is, in the 1980s, the Super Bowl Shuffle was the first, was the first form of social media awareness, making its debut in that lovely channel MTV. Okay. In 1994, before you guys arrived, rumors swirled that Bill nixed the Steelers from producing a video. However, Here We Go has come out today as the official Steelers fight song. My question is, has social media really changed the focus required to succeed in playoff contention, or has the desires always been there, just in different forms?
Definitely always
That's
been there.
That's a very packed question right there.
I didn't write it, guys. I mean, I was articulate.
That's just thesis.
Putting it out there.
I was surprised we trusted him to read all that, to be honest with you. But
Randy got it.
you did a good job, Bubba. Good job,
thank you.
bud.
I used to be an English major.
Thank you, Bubba.
You did good.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Hey,
I'm proud of you.
Go ahead,
it's definitely
Randy.
there in different forms, but I'm glad we didn't have the current social media form back when we played, because we did have a lot of guys with strong personalities that wanted to paint a picture of themselves as individually, and I think that would have took away some of the team effort. So I think that's what social media does this day and age, is that everybody's trying to create and be this influencer instead of focusing on the team concept. So some teams can keep it together with the right players. That's why when they're drafting and they're doing it, analyzing each player, they're looking for that good fit. They're looking for that player that's not going to be a distraction or disruption. So they go way back. I will tell you this: after my redshirt freshman year, the Denver Broncos went to my high school to ask my coaches and teachers and principals about my character.
Oh wow!
I still had 3 years to play, so they were vetting that far out, because they saying, if we're going to draft this guy, we're going to invest this into him, we want to make sure that he is stable, that he has good character, that he's going to make good decisions. So many factors come into play there. So
What's they would have called me?
With social media, social media make it easy for the teams to scout you, because they ain't got to go to your school. They just look on your social media page and realize that you're a butthole sometimes. No, we don't want him.
Yeah, but you also, both of you and Kordell has expressed and said it, being focused.
Yeah.
And I can't appreciate that word, because that is how I believe that the Steelers win, when they're focused. And you guys, coming from the age where focus was always the key.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, to your question about social media and focus, there's so many distractions now, honestly. And I think, coming from the era in which we came from, they weren't distractions. So we'll look at it nowadays, being that the kids in this era was raised on these distractions, right? To where multitasking, whether it's on the phone, to the laptop, watching TV, playing video games, they can do all of that stuff at one time. Doing two things at one time back in the day was, that was a lot, back in the day. We didn't have all
walking,
that
chewing bubble gum at the same time.
I was biting
trying
my
to
tongue
check
every
a
time.
pager and play Nintendo at the same time.
Right. And so,
Tecmo Bowl, you guys.
right, that too, yes.
Yeah.
And so when you look at it today with social media, just imagine. Let's just go into this. Just kind of let your mind roam a little bit. Just imagine if the character in Slash was alive today. NFTs would be awesome with Slash right now, wouldn't he? Wouldn't he be a bad guy? Like, that's like, dude, when you talk about distractions and social media and all of that great stuff, like, seriously, the Andre Hastings to the Yancey Thigpens to, myself, to Levon Kirkland, to Darren Perry, to even, Randy on the other. Seriously, everybody had a character of themselves, on display at all times, but we never could capture it as social media does today. And then you buy into it, and before you know it, you're having a great time. But, social media is the way to go nowadays, man. If you want to sell or promote, and,
it's hard. It's
even
hard.
the organization uses it when it comes to promoting our practices.
Sure
and
they
how
do.
guys come out of the huddle. You know, I mean, or out of the tunnel. You know, look at the Steelers.
I like the
Instagram page.
Steelers app now. That keeps me on top of everything.
Yeah,
I get mad when I'm
it's a
watching
plus
television. I get it on the
Yeah.
app before I get it on television. I'm like, what the
Right.
heck?
Yeah.
yeah. So
Right.
it's it works. It works, guys. It works as long
Okay.
as it's not a distraction. It works to the 10th degree. It really does. It really does.
Good answer, guys. Thank you.
Gotcha. Yes. And then JT, I think you got one more before we get into some other things here.
Yeah, we could go there. Certainly. How about this question? Best playoff moment not related to the field.
Best playoff moment not related to the field. Playoff moment not related to the field. Huh. How about just hanging out at the Super Bowl? You know, just that time we had, you know, just hanging around it. I mean, you saw everything. I mean, great living situation at the Marriott we had in Scottsdale. Like I'm saying, like just being able to be somewhere else and experience playing a game for an entire week, knowing when you get ready to play for it. Now that's not on the field now. I mean, I'm just talking about hanging out. Like seriously, you know, going to the mall like we all did. We all went to the mall, walking around, hanging out, right? You know, just chilling and just with the boys, spending time with the guys, and times like that when, you know, that was the greatest moment in every guy's time, which was you're getting ready to play.
I never went to the mall hanging out the week before Super Bowl, knowing I was playing in the Super Bowl to walk the mall, though. You guys had something great. I go to the mall and put quarters in and played Centipede. You guys are going to the
okay, I don't want to say we were playing Miss Pac-Man and Gallagher. So, yes, we were playing Centipede.
No, that was Bubba, that's tradition. We'll go to the mall, we go to the movie, we go to dinner. That's what we did on away trips. And
that's awesome.
And then you go back to meetings and
my time.
Yep. Kept you out of trouble, to be honest.
Okay, I can see that. Yeah, you don't want to go.
Bubba, come on,
Avenue.
Come on, Bubba.
I don't know. I mean, I just had to say it. I'm sorry.
That's why we love them.
There was a lot of places we went.
What do you say, Bubba?
Bubba about those places.
Bubba,
you guys
got a game to play. What are you doing hanging out the mall?
No. You guys are like hanging out at the mall and going to the Super Bowl. Like I hang out at the mall. My vision's not playing in the Super Bowl. It's just probably getting groceries or something. But you guys are like, going to the mall and hanging out. You guys are all having a good time because you know at the end of the week you're playing for the Super Bowl.
Yeah,
gotta keep it loose.
Yeah, gotta keep it loose, man.
At least we didn't grab the yacht and have the party with the girls like the Vikings, you know.
Oh
yeah. There you go.
Yeah. How that went.
There you go.
Yeah.
So just real quick before we get into something else here, I just want to give a shout out to our sponsors once again: Alley Cat Beverage, Climber, and Bob's Pizza, Indiana, PA. So Kordell, would you pick a number for us this time from 1 to 20? And I'm sorry, it can't be 10. I know that's your number, but Randy stole it from you, man.
All right, let's go. Let's go number 1.
Number 1.
Number 1.
All right, Scott Harper. Scott Harper, it is.
Woo! Go Scott.
So, actually, Randy, you have something you would probably like to give away. Why don't we give one of your prizes, Mr. Scott Harper?
Oh yeah, Scott. I have pictures somewhere. I got one against your World against the Browns, or you can get the Hail Mary breakup. There it is.
So you type in the chat which one you want, Scott, and we'll give Randy your address and he'll send it to you. Okay.
Hold on. Wait, before we do that, Gary, add 3 more guys because we got some on the Steelers realm side of it chiming in too. We've got Tim, Mel, and Mike. So if you could add them to them before we.
I just want to say also, Alley Cat Beverage, thank you, Amanda and Eric for everything, and Bob's Pizza, Ted Galecki, big Steeler fan, big Penguin fan, donated and sponsored our shows today, and thank you guys. And if you need a pizza and beer, those are the places to go in Indiana, Pennsylvania.
Yeah, we got it covered.
Yeah. Okay, so moving on there, JT.
All right, did we pick one? Did we pick one?
Yeah, we Scott won.
Okay. Sorry.
I added them. We'll get them to the next one. They'll be in the running queue.
We got plenty of prizes.
Yeah.
Who's that right there? Name that guy.
All right, guys. Well, hey, listen. Before we get into the game,
there you go.
And the breakdown. Nice.
Who was that?
And Scott said he wanted the Hail Mary breakup,
Oh, awesome.
by the way.
We'll get
So
it to him.
Good choice, Scott.
We'll get
Good
you his
choice.
address.
Oh, nice. Well, we got TA's ambulance report coming up before we get into the actual nuts and bolts of the game too. So, if you guys are up for that, TA, how are we looking? Heard a few players are back. What's going on? What's going on with the ambulance report there, brother?
Well, I tell you what, as we've already heard throughout the entire day, guys, it's who's the healthiest right now. And right now, when you look at our status right now, I think all eyes are on Najee Harris. Is he going to be able to hit the field on Sunday with that hyperextended elbow? My guess is you will see him, but we are going to protect him in what we do. Of course, then we got Arthur Mollett. Man, that guy's been playing lights out here. As we've talked about before, may not be the most athletic guy out there on the field, but my God, that guy has got some heart. He's hopefully will come out of a concussion protocol. Dan Moore will be back at left tackle. And the biggest one, which may be a concern right now, just popped up is Trey Turner. Because as we all know, it's up to Trey to let the center know when he's got to get that ball back to Big Ben. But on good news, and keep your guys' eyes tuned to this for the Steelers, we may see a certain player hit the field come Sunday, being Mr. Juju Smith. May be back on the field.
And he will be.
The ambulance report is brought to you by one of our sponsors, Bob Pizza, tonight. So, TA, why don't you pick a number as well, before we get into the next thing here. But you pick a number between 1 and 23, and you can't have 10 and you can't have 2.
All right, I'm going to go with 13.
13. Okay, Kelly Reed. Kelly Reed is the winner.
Hey, congrats, Joe.
Probably you can pick the prize there, but go ahead. Go on with your ambulance
We're making
report.
a move, yeah.
All right, now on the other side of the ball. Now, Chiefs have come out and saying that they're pretty healthy, but anybody who watched that Denver game last week knows that there's some nicks and bruises going on over there. Kelsey walked off the field a little softly with a hip. Tyreek Hill's been battling a heel. Clyde Edwards has been trying to practice with the shoulder injury that we provided him when we played him the first time. And then Darrell Williams may have a little turf toe. So right now, their offensive line or their offensive playmakers are not at 100%. They are going to be there. They are going to play, but it's going to be able to see just exactly how well they play together. And that's your TEA's ambulance report for the day. Bob, take it away.
Man, by the way.
And they have good pizza because I had 5 slices tonight. I'm not gonna.
It's one of my favorites too. Okay, JT, keep us moving here, man.
All right. So, here we go. Big key. So, really, Mahomes, Kelsey, Hill. Why don't we kick us around a little bit and then we can get into some details? But what do we got to do to and Kordell touched on this a little bit too. What do we have to do to stop this offense, man?
To stop Kansas City?
Yeah,
yes, sir.
Yeah. Like, how are we going to stop that machine?
What do you mean, man? You gotta cut somebody off, cut the bus off before they get to the stadium. Don't give them a chance.
So in other words, we need to be there with a couple pocket knives and flatten the tires on the bus.
No. Seriously, we have to contain Patrick Mahomes. We cannot let him scramble around and buy more time because eventually he will find someone open. I'm sure we're going to play kind of a cover 2 shell and try to keep everything in front. The key is, again, like I said earlier, is when he dumped the balls off, is that we have to make tackles. We cannot allow a bunch of yards after the catch. Obviously, we got to establish the run defense first. You're right. We got to stop the run so they don't get us there. And if we could do that and not turn the ball over, what else I would say? Tackle well, not turn the ball over. I had some notes. Yards after catch, make the tackle. Red zone. Yeah, we need to win the red zone. We need to win possession, have more possession. We need to make a couple plays on special teams, and we need to have the ball last. That's going to give us a chance.
Good call.
So Randy,
That's a really good point.
Let me ask you something, Randy. So we talked about Patty Mahomes, as Flash would say.
Yeah.
Now, do we go ahead? Do we put a spy on him? And do we have somebody right now on defense that you think can play spy on him?
I mean, Bush is fast enough to do it.
Well, Bush hasn't been 100% this
But he
year.
hasn't been 100%. I mean, I was just trying to tell you who I would think. We might not have nobody else on the field that's athletic enough to spy him, to be honest. That's why I just think it's going to be important. Well, here's the other thing we got to factor in. TJ Watt is having one hell of a season. So they got to do some things on their side of the ball to prepare for him. So Mahomes is not going to just be able to get out to that right side with Watts being over there.
Mm-hmm.
So we got to make them adjust. You know, that's the thing we have to do. We got to make them adjust to us instead of us trying to always adjust to what they're doing. So I want to put pressure in his face, you know, and make him get rid of the ball early. And then we know that he's going to break down and try to scramble. And we just need to rally to the ball as a team. So somebody said Marcus Allen is the guy to have spy. Yeah. But you know what? I mean, I don't think we need a spy. What I think we need to do is, again, we're a bend but don't break defense. That's what we've always been. Keep it in front. Don't give up the big plays. The big plays is what kill us. And more than anything, what we need to do is we need a wake-up call. We need to start early and fast. Why do we wait to the second half after we get slapped in the mouth and bleeding before we get mad? You know?
Hey, we are the best. We are the best 15-minute football team in the league this year.
No question. No question. So I would love to see us just start fast and play a complete game. Think about it. Like, we haven't played a complete game, and
we haven't the whole year.
No.
The whole year, even going back to last year, a complete game. Even when we were 12-0, we didn't play a full game.
Right.
So we just need to play solid. And I'm saying it ain't got to be perfect, but we need to play solid each quarter, and that'll give us a chance.
Yeah, I would piggyback off of Randy, but I'll go even further. The secondary has to play the kind of game that keeps everything in front of them. If we can get coverage sacks, I think we're winning. We will win the game. But if we let them get behind us, we're in trouble. Because our ability to stay on the field for consecutive drives hadn't been consistent until the last 15 minutes of the game that we alluded to. And if the team gets out front, it's going to be hard. I'm going to be honest. I like to be brutally honest so you can, you know, size it up the best way you can. But I just think we need to get started off fast, as Randy said, but most importantly, defensively. If we can, in the secondary, keep everything in front of us, and that doesn't mean play passive. It doesn't mean that you don't play aggressive. It just means you position your front seven to get off like they do. You know, TJ Watts. I mean, we got to allow him to go out and just continue to be a tower of terror, so to speak, and just give the backfield complete heck, you know, when it comes down to getting comfortable. Because if you let Patrick Mahomes get comfortable, okay, it can be a long day. Now, we've seen Tyreek Hill hobble around last week in the last game. I think they mentioned his Achilles or something to that extent. But he's not 100%, which that plays into our favor, but you still have to handle Travis Kelce.
He had 19 yards the last game. Hill did.
Yeah. That was the last game, but you know how that works, right? You have 19 yards one game and then come back and have 200 yards the next. And we've seen Travis Kelce have his way at times against, you know, defenses that were allegedly really good, or they had the matchup that they wanted to cover him, and he ended up using and abusing them. So, you know, you know, Andy Reid does a really good job of getting his team prepared to play. You know, they convert on third downs. I think so far this year on fourth down out of 15 times, they converted 10 times on fourth down. You know, so they're not afraid. In other words, they're not afraid to try to keep drives alive and convert to keep the ball on the football field. So if it's the cliche thing to say, if we take care of our business, we're going to win, right? Right? It doesn't always happen, but if we take care of our business. But I'm just saying, if we can take care of the secondary in the sense of keeping everything in front of us, and allow that front seven to just play in a way that has the defense on Patrick's mind. Feeling the pressure with someone coming off the edge and stepping up, and he doesn't have to, and step right up into a booby trap, right? We'll have a chance to play because we can finish strong. We've displayed that. We can finish strong and win games that way. But you're on the road, the playoffs, for some reason, the games go by a little bit faster. I don't know why, but these games in the playoff don't last as long as the regular season games. They seem like they just go by as quick as all outdoors. And the quicker you can get your feet on the ground and get settled in, I think the faster we'll be okay. And if we go out and score first, that confidence, I think, throughout the entire stadium, let alone through that sideline, it will resonate, I think, in some really good football if we can go out and do that real early. And I don't mean a field goal, I mean a touchdown. It'll be good. It'll be good.
Nice.
Yeah, good point. Good point. I think we're about that. All the talk shows been talking about that point all day. Is in fact, if we win the coin toss, you think we ought to take it?
I mean, it depends on what the strategy is, and I think from a roster standpoint, how they have it built. I mean, because sometimes I don't even understand the philosophy of when to take it, when not to take it. Honestly, because if you get your score, you're good. If you don't get it, you stop them, you're good. I understand you get in the second half with the intent of hoping we can be up and then go up and score again in the second half. I get that part going into the second. I get that part. But I'm like, in the start of the game, I want to get my offense out on the football field right now.
Yeah.
Give them the ball, get them rocking and roll. Because the defense is going to come around. They feast the famine. Like, it doesn't take much for them to get going. It takes a lot for the offense to get going. And I guess, sometimes the defense set the tone. Don't get me wrong. I know we played 95 that year in particular. Our defense set the tone for us every week. We came out with trickery and the fun stuff with the extra stuff we were doing on offense, which gave defenses complete hell. But defensively, oh, man, I wanted to watch us play anyway, to be honest with you. I wanted to watch the defense. I didn't feel like going out first. I wanted to watch us do our thing.
Randy, what's your take on that from a defensive perspective?
I believe defense wins championships. I
So
definitely want to kick off and play defense first. And the goal is to pin them down so we can get field position for our offense. So it normally takes the offense a little bit to get going. So why not put their back against the wall early? So that's my take.
Okay.
And shorten up the field.
Yep.
Yeah.
There's a lot of variables.
Seriously,
any defensive players to watch there, Randy? Who do you look out for there?
And you can't say TJ Watt.
TJ Watt, come on, that's the easy way out.
What do you mean? Well, Mr. Hayward has been having a youth movement. He looked like he's about 24 again, the way he's been playing. So, I mean, he's on a mission. So I would really keep an eye in the interior front because they're the one that's gonna set the tempo for the day. It's all about the line of scrimmage. So our defensive line must win the battles that they're supposed to win, and then they got to make plays that nobody expected them to make.
What about a dark horse of Witherspoon coming on now and being something in Kansas City Sunday that he's been doing the last couple of weeks?
Yeah, what's the one guy that we traded to Kansas City? You see what he's done, right?
Yeah,
Melvin Gordon.
Yeah, Melvin Gordon. So maybe Witherspoon can give us some Melvin Gordon type.
What about a Minka Fitzpatrick? If we can get a Minka Fitzpatrick when he first came from the Dolphins, you remember that year he had when he first got in Pittsburgh? If he can play that way in this game in the secondary, if he give us some of that, when the ball's in the air.
Yeah.
Yeah, like you said,
if they try to go deep, he can get it, right?
And then, like you mentioned earlier about the coverage sacks, the secondary really needs to step up in this game because with all the targets Patrick Mahomes has, they really got to lock that down.
Yeah.
And if they can do that makes our lives much easier, especially with play calling. Like, I'm not saying play cover 2, but if guys can stay disciplined, my son played corner, right? So eye discipline is so important when it comes to playing corner and playing man coverage. Sometimes we get caught looking to see what the quarterback is going to do, which is great for me as a quarterback. But teaching my son what what it is that I look for to determine when I'm throwing the football. He did a phenomenal job with it. So we can have eye integrity, meaning don't get caught looking in the backfield at the quarterback to see what's going on. Keep your eye, because all of these receivers in Kansas City are fast. I mean, everybody runs great routes and everybody's fast. And we've watched this year our secondary and our defense get beat by guys that have been pretty quick. Okay, so I just think being smart, being disciplined, as you were talking about earlier, Bubba, being disciplined and just really locking in on your assignment and not trying to make the big play, but make your play by causing a guy to bounce outside or run and reroute himself because you're in that position. And the quarterback will be wanting to throw it on time, and all of a sudden he just throws up in the air and it's an interception. So making a play doesn't mean you make the play. It just means you're in the right place at the right time and doing your part, and somebody else can actually reap the benefits from it. So I just think that's just my thing, man. It's a secondary in this game. I think it can determine a lot of greatness that can take place in it by helping that front seven out to make those plays that we know they know how to play when they're getting those coverage.
And if they wrap up, that's the key to me. Our secondary doesn't wrap up like they should. When you guys, when Randy did it and you guys did it back in the in those seasons, they weren't getting free and they weren't getting extra yardage.
Games change a little bit,
the
heads. When you lead with your helmet and whether you put targeting and it's just a little different. It's just a little different and. It could be a little tougher for people like Randy, when it comes to do I hit him this way? How do I do it without getting penalized or getting fined? Like, how do we do it? And so, in all fairness, that millisecond is hard. It's tough.
Yeah. Well, a majority of your tackles is not going to be where your body comes into that head-on type of tackle. A majority of it is just going to be a simple tackle. That hard one that you got to make a decision, it's going to present itself. But that's when you got to have the discipline to turn the head, try to get the shoulder in there. I mean, it's just a reaction that you have to have. But if you lead with the head, what's going to happen? So, but you got to secure the tackle. And my concern is not so much, we're tackling. My concern is the integrity of the defense. When a guy catches the ball and we look up and we're like, where's the corner? Where's the safety? Like, there's nobody there, So that's my concern is don't give them what I call free plays, don't just give it to them. Make them earn every yard. If we could do that, we got a chance. So that's what I would like to see on Sunday. I know it's going to be hard-nosed football, because they already slapped us in the mouth. So we're going to come out and we're going to leave it on the line. The other thing about the playoffs is that, if you don't win, you definitely go home. So the difference between the regular season and playoffs is that regular season, you say, oh, I can fix it and get ready for next week. Playoffs, you can't fix it. You'll be fixing it in the off season. So I got to believe our game plan is going to allow us to be ready for Saturday.
Yeah.
Hey, guys, I don't want to be a party pooper. But my son just texted me and he's at school and I got to go get him.
No worries.
So he literally just
Can you give us a game prediction before you go?
What do you think? Come on, dude.
I'm talking score. What do you think?
Want score?
Yeah.
Come on, Gary. You seriously, bro? Like, for real. Like, what do you expect me to say? Right? I
got to do the same thing. So I'm going to give you my score as well.
I'm going to go Vegas a little bit, and I'm not talking about, gamblers or anything like that. But over under, I'm going to go over 40 points for sure. Wow. Over 40. Yeah, I think it'll be over 40. And I think the Steelers win. The Steelers will win. I would go 27-24.
Wow. And Kordell, that is the third time on our podcast Monday night we had another guest, and him and I both were 27-24. So we're at 3-27-24 right now. I'm starting to feel really, really good about this.
Yeah.
You
You
stole my
like the
thunder,
over
too.
under. You like the over under. You like the over under. You like that. You like that. Pretty good.
Yeah.
I do.
Well, Kordell, I just want to say thank you so much from the bottom of our heart. It's honestly
y'all, guys.
Awesome.
you have
Thank
no
you,
idea.
Kordell.
This was
God,
amazing. Thank you.
It was great. It was
We'll
a shock
do it
for
again.
me. Oh, anytime
Oh,
we do this again,
we would love it.
We would love it. It was great. It was an honor, and
Well, hopefully we do it before Super Bowl. Now that would be great.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, that would be good. That would be good.
Yeah.
We'll see what happens.
Fuller's gonna be cooking a whole lot for this one.
Right.
Be good,
We have a lot of
Fuller.
people thanking you as well. So thank you, Kordell. We
Thank y'all.
appreciate it.
Thank y'all.
Randy, before
Yes, sir.
you scoot, we want to get your predictions too.
Absolutely. I was thinking more like 27-24, you know.
That's
No, just kidding.
honestly that was mine, but now I got to switch it up.
No. I'm giving the Steelers the victory. Now we haven't scored 27 points all season. I don't feel like it, so I'm not giving us that many points. I'm still going to defensive ball game, in some kind of way. You can't hold Kansas City to 12 points, so let's give them 17. Let's go 21 to like 17. Steelers, because I want to win so bad. I'm a TA fan.
That's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about. Here we go.
Well, Randy, you know we love you, man. We really appreciate it. We
We
appreciate
do.
all you do for us.
Thank you,
And
Randy.
you have no idea. So
We'll
thank
do
you
it
so much for
again.
doing
I appreciate you guys having me on the show, and
always.
go
You
Steelers
come back
as always.
anytime.
Here we go.
yeah, so
All right.
we'll get you over Scott's address and then
Randy.
all right, we appreciate it.
Okay,
Thanks,
Thank you
Randy.
so
All right,
much,
take care.
man.
All right.
This
bye-bye.
is great.
Thanks, Randy.
Oh, guys, was that not wonderful or what?
That was
That was
amazing.
awesome.
That was amazing. But we're not done yet. I just want to
We're
say
not done.
before we get into our predictions, thank you for hanging with us. I bet you our numbers drop right now.
That's
But
okay.
hang with us because we're going to give away more prizes. So again, I just want to thank our sponsors, Alley Cat Beverage, Climber PA, and Bob's Pizza, the only pizza that matters in Indiana, PA. So thank you to both. And I need another number, and I'm going to go with Bubba. Who do you pick? What number?
I'm gonna pick number 7.
7, Jeff Booth.
Jeff Booth.
Okay.
Yeah.
Jeff Booth.
Hey, there you go.
Jeff
So-
Booth, I know what you're winning. You're winning a 12-pack of 12-ounce Bud Light.
Nice.
What?
There you go.
Even Iron City?
Yeah, well,
No, it was a Bud Light wrap, man.
it's okay.
Iron,
It's okay.
Iron City is a very harsh beer when you get older, DA.
Yeah. Are you saying Booth's old, or what? What are you saying?
Well,
Booth, he
is
said you were old.
Booth is, but he's older than me by a little bit.
Okay. Well, anyway, Cable, let's hear your prediction, man, from the Patriots fan. We want to hear it.
Wait a second, Gary. Before we do, let's break down this offense, man.
Okay,
We
cool.
gotta- or their
Yeah.
defense. What we got to do on offense. We got it from the defense. What are we going to do on offense, guys? We talked about getting out there fast. We talked about slapping Ben around on some of these comments I've seen.
We
Well,
need
we've gotta
to-
do-
we
we've
need
gotta
to
do
get
more
the
than
we
that.
need to get the ball first and have a long drive to take Patrick Mahomes off the field, and we need to let the running of Najee Harris control the tempo of this
Hopefully,
game,
Najee
and have
Harris.
Ben manage it, and have Ben manage to just be the game manager, and hopefully the receivers catch the ball.
Yeah, that's a good point. They got to catch the ball. Claypool's got to be huge. We have to have Harrison. We have to, in my eyes. We got to control that clock. We got to keep Ben upright. That's my take on it.
I think Dan Moore coming back is going to be huge because he had that good game Monday night, and I believe he can actually is a little better than Haig at the tackle position. Which I'm surprised they said that.
Another big point is going to be.
I'm sorry. Is somebody talking?
Yeah.
I heard something. I don't know where it came from. I wasn't going to phrase it this way, but now I will. Let's take a page out of the Patriots playbook and stay patient. We know going into this game that you need points. You're not going to beat Kansas City without scoring a bunch of points. But be patient. Even if it's not working, don't try and force something. Let's keep a even play call go. Run as best you can. But Ben has that tendency to force a ball every once in a while and try and extend a play like he used to do. And I think with the pressure of going against Kansas City, knowing their high-powered offense, just like I said, stay patient. If it's not working right away, stick with it. Don't try and force anything.
That's not bad advice there, Cable, even for a Patriots fan. So
well, I tried.
Yeah, I know you did good.
I got to ask, Cable, if anybody's been watching the Steelers all season long, that's exactly what we've been, as patient. And then we don't turn it on until the fourth quarter.
Yeah, I mean, I don't. Yeah.
So I understand where you're coming from that perspective, and I think we've got it. My concern is with this offense, with Najee maybe not being 100%, because let's face it, coming back from a hyperextended elbow, he's not going to be 100%. He's just not. And we're looking at stiff arms, and the minute he throws that stiff arm out, and we've all seen how powerful that stiff arm can be, he's not going to have that same punch. Plus, here's the other thing, and not going to jinx him, but as a rookie, he has had great ball management. My fear here is that we need to look at opening up that offense just a little bit. I think we've gotten to the point where everybody knows what we're going to do before we even do it.
Can you make the throws? Can Ben make those throws?
I think Ben can make those throws.
He's going to have to, because this is all it. He's cashed everything all in. He's got it all in.
So if we're 4th and 1, send Ben. Is he going for it? Is he going to do the QB sneak? We haven't seen him do it.
Yeah, we have.
Not often. Not often. There's been times he could have just fell over and it would have been fine. You know what I mean? But he's got to leave it. To your point, was what I'm trying to say is he's got to leave it all out on the field. Whether it's a QB sneak, whether it's 4th and goal, whatever it's going to take, he needs to do it because
he can only do it if the coaches tell him that he could do it.
And I was expecting it last game, to be honest. Not that we needed it. At least I can't think of any situations. TA, maybe you can, but I was expecting more of that last game.
So how about this, Gary? I mean, do we really need to put our 39-year-old quarterback in that position when we've got a $3 million fullback sitting on the sideline that could probably do the same damn thing?
Yeah. No, but the problem is, and this isn't Ben or not willing to do it. It's just coaches don't use them. They don't utilize them. But we have seen the fullback with last game before that, maybe
a little bit,
very little bit. Actually, it might have been the game we were at, Bubs. We saw what, yeah.
And I think that's what I'm getting at, guys. I think that now it's time to take the gloves off. Whatever creativeness that Canada was supposed to bring to this team, we need to see it in the next 4 games. And you heard me, the next 4 games, we need to see that creativity.
Brother, I hope you're right. And
I hope you are too.
Yeah.
Yeah. Can you pass some of that over here?
Hey, it's right here, brother. The train is rolling. The train is rolling.
But there's one person that we forgot on offense, gentlemen, is that had a half decent game last week. Is Claypool. Claypool had a good game last week.
He wasn't terrible.
No.
Yeah.
But if Ben throws that long ball and he catches it, that could be a difference maker, because the Kansas City Chiefs last week against Denver almost lost that game. And both running backs of Denver was like almost 200 yards rushing they had. And if it wasn't for Locke fumbling that ball, that would have been a different outcome of that game, I believe. But Chase Claypool just has to catch and quit falling down. I never seen a receiver fall down more than he just got to. If you're gonna, you could do your TikTok and do all that shit, but you got to produce.
Well, I tell you what, Ray's been pretty good the last couple games. I mean,
James Washington's coming back off the COVID.
Okay, yeah,
but they never use him.
They don't use him.
Yeah,
I don't know what happened.
I don't get it. But I don't know. Maybe we'll see Juju. That would be great. Whether he's in playing condition or not. It'd be nice to see somebody take the pressure off Johnson a little bit. But I don't know how much of a threat he'd be.
I think if we see Juju, I think that's enough distraction on that secondary for Kansas City that we could open up a lot of different passing lanes of what we thought we were going to see before Juju got hurt this year.
He don't have to catch. All he's got to do is block. He's a hell of a blocker.
Yeah,
absolutely. Put a lick on somebody.
He reminds me of Ward in that regard. But yeah, right, real quick, JT, why don't you pick a number for us so we can get another prize out here?
All right. Yeah, certainly. And then, I would like to chime in too on my thoughts on the defense there. But with the addition of R3 that we added, what's the top number? What's the top number?
You can have 1 through 23, but you can't have 2. You can't have 10. Can't have 13.
And 7.
And 7.
7. All right, let's go 21. 21.
21. Where are we at? Because I mixed these up here. Tim. I don't have a last name, JT. You just said Tim, so I'm not sure.
Tim Barber. Tim Barber.
Tim Barber.
All right, Tim. Yeah.
Tim,
win, guys.
You won, Tim. This is what you won. Da 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 da. Tim. Hopefully, I hope you're a Bud Light drinker because you got Bud Light 12-ounce bottles from Alley Cat Beverage.
There you go. Nice. And JT, we weren't forgetting about you with the chime in. We were just saving the best for last. That's all.
Yeah, of course. Hey, want to send a shout out to Sam Grace. Just checked in too. Thanks for watching, Sam. Please like and follow us and spread the good word between the Triple B Experience and Steelers Realm podcast. We appreciate
these
you watching.
These mega casts reminds me of WrestleManias.
Yeah, man. Yeah, man. So yeah, my thoughts are this. A, I think Ben's a genius. I don't know if you guys heard his press conference, but certainly playing a little bit of head games there with hey, we're not a very good team and we don't expect to win, but hey, we're gonna go out and play our best and see what happens.
Yeah, have fun.
I think that's all designed to relax some of these younger players, some of the rookies, take the heat off, put the pressure on Kansas City, and hopefully they do come out to have some fun. Because let's face it, guys, we've got a talented team here. We've got a seasoned quarterback. He knows what's going on back there. And we've got some great athletic skill out here. My concern is this is going to boil down to coaching. And with that said, I'm not an anti-Tomlin guy, but I'm just concerned about that matchup. I think that could prove pivotal in this. So I think the Steelers have to win the turnover battle. I think we've got to score early. So I'm going to say those are my 3 keys to the game. We've got to outcoach Indeed. We've got to win the turnover battle, and we've got to score early and be effective on offense to keep our defense off the field and to keep that offense off the field.
Yeah. No, see, that's why we saved you for last, because it's going to be way more intelligent than anything that I say or
I don't know about
that, Bubba. We're not intelligent, Bubba.
No, I always get lambasted on my podcast, brother.
Yes, you do. well, if you get a text message from Bubba, you would know what we're talking about.
Well,
but anyway,
I talk into my phone.
Anyway, before we get into the main event here, Cable, why don't you pick a number?
All right.
1 through 24 now, but you don't get 21, you don't get 13, you don't get 10, you don't get 7, you don't get 2.
And 1 through 24, Cable, go ahead and take your shoes off.
I don't know if you want that. I know we're not in the same room, but that still might translate. I'll leave them on for now.
If we start seeing action figures falling off the shelf, we know that happened.
Yeah, we don't want an avalanche back here. All right, let's go with number 17.
All right, we got Dominic. Dom.
Oh, jeez. Dominic,
you won. What did you win?
He's going to win a gift certificate to Bob's Pizza.
All right. I'm going to be your date. That's what's going to happen. But anyway.
Only cool people eat
Bob, I
square
hope
pizza.
you swing from both sides of the plate.
Hey, for Bob's Pizza, brother,
I just had some tonight, man.
it's great.
Good.
We love Bob's. Thank you, Ted. It's great, and also thank you, Alley Cat Beverage. But yeah, gentlemen. So here's the main event. Well, TA, we already know what you're picking, unless you're going to switch on us. But we know your numbers. So
I'm sticking with it. It's just been a number. It's been stuck in my head, and I've heard it 3 times now. So
you should play it on the lottery.
24. There you go.
Okay. All right, Cable. What about you?
Well, let's get me out of the way. Yeah, let's get the party pooper out of here. I'm going with the Chiefs. And
go ahead, kick him out. Put him
I'm gonna. Hey, somebody's got to be the heel.
Mm-hmm.
We'll go 27-20.
Okay.
Steelers?
No.
Chiefs.
Okay. JT?
Well, I feel pretty good about this game. I think we certainly have an advantage mentally in many ways. I don't think we're going to see the same kind of debacle that we saw last time. And then what was was it 15.5? Was that the spread?
TA, I don't know. Do you know?
Yeah, right now the spread was 12.5.
12.5.
12.5. Well, I would not take the Chiefs to cover that. I'm going to say the Steelers keep it close, but can't hang in the end. I'm going to say 30-21. Steelers.
Oh my
Steelers take it on
Bubba,
the chin.
now you know what I've had to put up with all year, Bubba. I mean, holy shit.
Whoa!
I'm like the cheerleader. I need to set
I know. I listen to the shows, guys.
You gotta pick with not with your heart, Bubba, with your brain.
I'm gonna tell you guys right now, as I told numerous people this week who were like, blah blah blah. I have never, ever, 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 ever my entire life picked against the Steelers in a playoff game ever. Doesn't matter who they played, doesn't matter what they played, doesn't matter how they played. I am not. Oh, I just get so.
Well, go ahead.
I'm taking Pittsburgh 31.
Well, I was saving you for last, but go ahead. Go ahead. Go ahead.
No, I'm good. 31-23. Pittsburgh on Big Ben, lighting them up for 275 yards and 3 touchdowns. And Najee, who he had very, very close to 100 yards the last game when they were getting blown out in Kansas City. And I know people think that I'm crazy, and yes, I am when it comes to Pittsburgh Steelers football. I've been picking an upset the whole time. I'm going to pick an upset and I'm going to be celebrating like it's 1999 because I always get this feel when it's playoff time. I don't know. TA, you know what I'm talking about.
I know what you're talking about, Bubba, because it's exactly what they said. Yeah. You make it to the dance,
anything can happen.
Expectation is going to the Super Bowl.
None of us in this podcast thought that Jacksonville Jaguars was beating the Colts. I didn't see that coming from a million miles away. That is destiny. That is something. And I knew Pittsburgh was going to beat the Ravens on Ben's last game due to the technicalities of Jack. We had to go on Jacksonville. That game was won by Jacksonville, and then I had to wait till 1 o'clock in the morning to wait for two seconds to go to see a field goal get kicked, and it almost was going to be a tie. And I stayed up the whole time because I'm telling you, it's divine intervention. It's destiny. 31-23, Pittsburgh on Big Ben controlling it, because this reminds me of the game Joe Montana played as a Kansas City Chief. Pittsburgh was favored, and Joe Montana beat him in overtime. And I remember that game because it pissed me off. So this is just a little bit different. Joe Montana is played by Ben Roethlisberger this year. So there we go. That's how I'm doing it.
And just real quick, and Bob, I couldn't sleep after. I mean, the 3 of us were texting. I'm like, you got to be shitting me. This is going to overtime, and I couldn't sleep after. I couldn't sleep. I was so revved up. Yeah, it was crazy. I just can't even. But anyway, Scott, just real quick, yeah, if you get the shirts made, trust me, we'll wear them. You know, of course I'd wear a shirt with Bubba's face on it. Absolutely, I would. Damn right I would.
See how I CTA. See how it is.
I would.
I'm telling you.
I wear all your shit. I have all your stuff.
I know.
But anyway, let's see. Just another comment from Craig. Guys, like I told Bubba, Steelers are going to run through KC like a Wookiee through a bounty hunter. And then I'll make my prediction here real quick, and I'm going to pick another winner. But Scott just chimed in and said 23-17 Pittsburgh sends KC home. Me, Bubba, mine, and I have it wrote down here, it is very similar to yours, but mine was 31-24 Pittsburgh. I have to.
You were hesitating a little bit there.
I was. And you know why I'm hesitating? If Najee doesn't play, I'm going to probably I'm going to eat my words, but I can't go against him.
He'll play.
But I don't, they need to score points, and this has got to be the game to do it. So again, 31-24. I have to go with Pittsburgh. I got to go with my heart.
Denver can score points on them. I know the Steelers can score points on them. I mean,
yeah, well, and I'm gonna pick a winner. I'm gonna pick a winner here, another winner, and I'm just gonna go with 5. I don't know who's on number 5. I mix some of these up.
That's okay.
Mike Duke.
Mike Duke.
Duke. My man, you won whatever Bubba wants to give you.
I'm giving you a beer gift certificate, Duke.
Yeah, I don't think he'd have any use for pizza. But
that too, yeah. No.
But Mike, congratulations, you're our last winner for the night. But yeah, gentlemen, this was amazing.
I got two more 12 packs to give away.
Okay, well, somebody else pick a number.
I got 24 for TA if it's a 12-pack of Yingling.
Well, how about we just go with number 24 since you said it?
24.
Mel.
All right, Mel.
Nice.
Mel,
you won.
Hey,
what did Mel win?
Mel? Is he local? Is he one of your boys?
Yeah, I think he's from Steelers Realm, one of their
boys?
viewers.
Jim?
Yeah, let me check here real quick.
Okay.
I lost you there, buddy.
That's okay.
That's
Is it Mel Mead?
Mel
okay,
Mead.
yeah.
Is
Are you local, Mel? Yeah, I'm just waiting for his input here.
Okay.
Go ahead and type it in the chat. But then we have another one.
Yeah.
How many more do you got? 2? 2 more?
I got another Steeler cooler, and I have Bob's Pizza, and I have one more.
Well, you can give me the Bob's Pizza, so I don't have to go on a date with the dude. I appreciate that. But anyway,
I want us all to know that you swing on both sides of the plate.
I'm a married man. Okay, I'm a married man. JT, you're up. You pick another number.
What happens with married men?
Good point. Good
Mel,
point.
I'm going to give Mel the cooler. Mel, you're getting the cooler. We'll get it mailed to you.
And then JT, you pick another number.
All right, let's go with 8. You pick 8 yet?
Number 8 is Lisa.
Oh, Lisa. Let's see. Lisa Krause.
Yep.
Yeah, Lisa Krause. I'll get her some pizza. You're getting some pizza from Bob.
Yeah. That's
right.
Great prize. And then we have one more. TA, why don't you go with that one? You pick another one.
I'm going to go with number 9.
Number 9. We got lots of prizes tonight. This is awesome.
The Wizard of Oz, baby.
Let's see. Mike Showhammer.
Mike Showhammer, case of beer.
Mike. There you go.
A 12-pack. Sorry.
A 12-pack. 12-pack of beer, Mike.
Mike Showhammer. I'm just.
Bubba, you're such a tease.
Mike, we're keeping the other 12-pack for us.
Yeah, Mike. I got 1, 2, 3.
Sorry, buddy. It would have been a case.
No, I got one more. I got one more 12-pack. I had 4 12-packs. I got 3 winners. 1, 2, 3. I got one more. So pick a number.
Okay, I'll pick a number. Let's go with
and I'll write it all up after I'm done.
Let's go with 15. Let me see. Tim Javicki.
Tim Javicki. Ah, Timmy. Well, pack a Bud Light, Javicki.
There you go.
Depot. Tim Javicki.
There we go. Okay, does that take care of all our prizes?
Yeah, that takes care of all our prizes.
But hey, we want to thank everybody that liked, shared, tagged, all that good stuff. We appreciate it. Thank you to our sponsors, Alley Cat Beverage, Climber PA, and Bob's Pizza, Indiana, PA. And gentlemen, thank you. This was a lot of fun. Thank
you. Yes, you did a lot. You and JT and TA with all the questions and stuff. You guys did a great job with your run sheet. It was great. And like I said, I just want to say real quick, thank you, Ted from Bob's Pizza.
Ted, yep.
Thank you, Amanda and Eric from Alley Cat Beverage. And thank you, everybody that tuned in tonight, because there was a lot of people tuning in. And thank you, Randy Fuller. And thank you, Kordell. And thank you, Cable, for picking the Kansas City. I ain't never going to forget it.
Hey, that's what I'm feeling.
Now, buddy. You're in the doghouse.
I'm always in the doghouse.
Yeah, you are a Patriots fan.
Yeah, that's where I live.
Hey, but your mom would be extremely proud that you were on a podcast tonight with Kordell Stewart and Randy Fuller. So
she would have.
Because Caleb's
she
mom
would
is a
have
huge
lost her
Steelers fan.
shit.
Yeah, she would have. So making mama proud, that's for sure. But anyway, gentlemen, this was fun. Hopefully we get a chance to do this again. Every week we just pray one more time, right? But any final thoughts, TA and JT? You could take us home. Anything?
Well, you know what, Steeler Nation, it's been a fun ride so far. I'm not an anti-Steeler by any means, but we know. I'm hoping I'm wrong. I'm betting against the Steelers, but hoping I'm wrong. So anyhow, I got a good feeling about it. So I think we're going to pull this out if we do those key things and get a jump on it and play loose, man. So thank you for tuning in, everyone. For those of you who won prizes through the Steelers Realm link here too, PM us, private message us. Tim, I can take care of his prize too, but Mel, if you're listening still, tune in with us. Yeah, we'll get it out to you. Appreciate everybody tuning in, and appreciate you guys, Gary, Cable, and Bubba, for having us and doing all the graphics.
It's a team thing.
It's not having us, guys. This is all we're all in it together, and TA, you're a genius with the writing, so we really appreciate it. Bubba, just real quick, we have some disappointed people that you didn't drop any of the F-bombs, but we told him he had to be on his best behavior.
This is a professional. Well, I try. I didn't get excited, but I'm going to tell you right now, ladies and gentlemen, the Brew Crew Steelers review, I'm off Monday, and I guarantee I'm going to have a show, and I guarantee there'll be some stuff slinging. I guarantee you that.
Well,
when we win, I'm going to be excited.
As the cool kids say, if the Steelers win, it's going to be lit, right?
That's what the cool kids say.
That's right. That's right.
Well,
so
guys,
TA, take us home.
Guys, I just want to say, man, this has been an awesome show. I want to thank Triple B Experience, man, for hosting all of this and putting it on. I want to thank Kordell. I want to thank Mr. Randy Fuller himself, good friend of the show. And most importantly, Steeler Nation, you need to be in Arrowhead Stadium. I need to see those terrible towels waving loud and proud. This train is rolling, and we are going to the Super Bowl. So let's get it up. Woo! Let's keep the energy high, and let's make it happen.
There we go.
Here we go.
All right, guys, we're signing out. We're signing out. Go Steelers.
Go Steelers, baby.